Whether you are in the military for a few years or a couple of decades, transitioning into civilian life can bring some challenges.
As you are searching for your next career, we'd like to share some stories with you from veterans within the Anderson family of companies.
We want you to know that you are not alone in this transition.
And that there are so many veterans out there that went through what you're going through right now.
Service in the military runs deep in my family. My father and ATS founder, Harold Anderson, flew B-24s out of England during World War II. I served in the Air Force during the Vietnam era. I came out of the Air Force with a different attitude towards work and life in general.
I enlisted in the Army and served a tour during Operation Iraqi Freedom. It is because of my experiences that I am more accountable and disciplined in my approach to everything in my life.
My job in the Air Force was to support the base computer operations, the data processing and leadership skills that I learned quickly translated to my work here at ATS.
Mine was transportation and forward support, moving much needed fuel and supplies forward as quickly and as safely as possible. The training I received in the military enabled me to learn quickly and apply what I learned to my job.
Though the jobs may vary from what is performed in the military, many of the basic skills developed apply to various careers in all industries, all around the world.
The teamwork I experienced in the military helped me to quickly learn to lead a fleet of drivers as a fleet manager. My career with ATS has been both challenging and exciting. It has provided me with many opportunities for advancement and personal growth.
Whether it be in information systems, diesel mechanic, fleet management, truck driving, customer service, sales, or accounting,
you'll find veterans in every corner of our industry.
That's right, and we're proud to be a veteran-owned and veteran-friendly company.
No matter your branch of military, there are unlimited career opportunities for veterans out there.
Today we're excited to introduce you to some of those incredible veterans who've transitioned from serving their country to finding a career and home right here at ATS.
Each of them has a unique story about their time in the military and how they made the jump to civilian life.
And we're honored to be a part of that journey.
We hope their stories will inspire you.
Now let's hear from the heroes themselves.
Taking what I learned in the Marine Corps and transitioning that into the civilian world, I took that and went into college, utilized my time management skills, utilized my communication skills, and really found a passion within human resources and helping other people.
Training taught me the ability to be accountable, to be in the right place, the right time, the right uniform. Training taught me to proceed while under duress. It taught me how to still pay attention to detail and be detail-oriented when I was tired or under duress. It also taught me the importance of teamwork. It taught me the importance of the people around you, and it taught me the importance of chain of command.
My military training was really helpful in a lot of different areas, with adding some discipline and regularity to my life that I didn't always have, having a good way to process large amounts of information and track multiple things at once, and to learn what it looked like to work in a team.
The reality is a lot of the training that as an officer that you learn project management skills. You learn a 5-paragraph op order, which when you lay down an op order, you're building a timeline, you're determining what resources you need, you're figuring out how to communicate that.
Sometimes things don't run smooth, and so being able to have those problem-solving skills to get through that, and not only get through that yourself, but if you're in a position to lead other people through those difficult scenarios.
Oh my goodness, when I came back from Afghanistan, my transition was sketchy at best. I went back to a software company that was getting purchased. I found myself in the supply room talking to an accounting guy about blue pens and black pens, and all I could think was that's the worst thing that you're dealing with right now is a blue pen or a black pen. I was just happy no one was shooting at me.
I would say the hardest part was having the confidence when going into certain job interviews and then explaining that and really kind of landing on the, I am going to be gone for a couple of days here and there.
My experience transitioning out of the military into civilian life, I think for me was pretty natural. I knew that my time in the Marine Corps was coming to an end and I wanted to move on and use my GI Bill to go to college. And so that's what I did.
Honestly, one of the biggest challenges I had was translating the experiences and the knowledge that I developed as a leader in the Army, and how do I explain that in a resume to people that don't understand what a platoon leader is or what an executive officer does.
We use a lot of project management skills, so that's why I wanted to go into that field. So found a pretty easy transition, just made sure I'm prepared before I left the military service.
And I think a lot of people don't take advantage of the resources that are available to them. So I would highly encourage somebody to use, whether it's VA services or even before you get out of active duty or reserves, there's a ton of programs in place that somebody can use to help them with that transition.
Depending on where you're transitioning into, use your veteran service officers. They can help you, point you in the right direction for the next steps.
So my first career and job out of the military, I had no problems finding it. They were, hiring and looking for mechanics, diesel mechanics specifically.
I did have some trouble and some challenges there. I had developed a set of skills in the military that don't always or easily translate.
Mainly because you don't really know where to look. They have a lot of resources, but it was always intimidating to ask about those resources. But to try to find something that you find unique and are excited about, it's a struggle.
My experience at ATS as a veteran has been great. Again, it was good to come back into a family-owned, veteran-driven company with the ownership being former veterans with Harold Anderson and Raleigh.
I also get to work with a lot of veterans in my position and in my department, so that even makes it even better. So I've had a phenomenal experience.
It's just an amazing environment for veterans to walk into. Like Melissa, coming into a team, and I had half my team was veterans. It made her transition much easier. So
I'm surrounded by multiple other veterans that work and think a lot like I do. It has also helped me with ATS because they are very structured, and especially in a shop environment. It's a little more blue collar.
My experience was eye-opening. I had never been at a company that truly valued its veterans, and probably mainly because of Harold, and then Raleigh, obviously, with the whole network of ATS. There's so many different veterans that, with a lot of different backgrounds that I never saw. We do the veterans breakfast. That was something completely new to me. Having guest speakers come in showed me that, they do everything they can to at least make us feel at home.
On day one, when he was introducing himself, mentioned that I was a veteran, and he appreciated that, so I felt really at home here.
So my advice, for anybody active duty that's getting ready to transition out, I would say don't ever underestimate the value of learning leadership in the armed forces, because I think that's very attractive to employers, that you're there, you're on time, and you're dependable, and you treat people and you know how to go in and lead.
To lean on the resources that you have. There's a ton of resources out there for you to go to, talk to people, use your network, use the people that you know that are in an industry that you want to get into.
Don't be afraid to ask your exiting command that you're leaving with where the next steps are as far as the transitioning out. The military has a lot of steps already in place to help veterans transition out into the workforce.
Researching, start building relationships, whether there are formal veterans networks where you're looking to go or informal ones. Talk to people. Networking is going to help you going into any career, any field.
Make sure you take your time, take a year or two before. Make sure you build your resume, practice interviews, have a plan, where are you going to live, where do you want to move to. So it takes time to plan all that out, and don't wait for the last minute. That's one thing I wish I was told, because I kind of waited till the last minute and I kind of rushed at the end doing that. So make sure you take that time and prepare.
Use everything you learned, because you may not realize it, but your standard of normal has actually become a very high functioning standard to everybody else, and you're valued.
That there's a lot more opportunity than it's really easy to look at kind of what's in front of you, like, okay, you got so many different, Indeed, you got now LinkedIn does the job things, and we're not putting the right wordings in there other than maybe labor. don't think that you're just that. I mean, you have so much more ability beyond that. The type of chaos that you've gone through, the type of training that you've gone through teaches you a lot more than just, I can do stuff physically. You can work your mind under pressure. You can handle, pressure that maybe some people collapsed at and they just really struggle. I don't know. I feel like a lot of us sell ourselves short.
Explore your options. Don't be afraid to move on to something else if you really have a passion for something else. Something with active duty, you get stuck in this mindset that you have a 4-year contract. You kind of feel stuck at times when you do want to move on. So if you're feeling stuck at your current job, don't be afraid to explore your options and find what you're truly passionate about.
The biggest thing I wish I would have known when I first got out was the VSO. They are basically like your liaison to the Veterans Administration.
Veteran Service Office too, and getting you set up with the VA and what your service-connected disabilities could be, and helping you through, because it's a large system to navigate when you get into that. So being able to get through and understand how my disability is going to get taken care of through the VA.
For those that are wanting to learn a trade, I would say one of the things I learned in the last several years was the Department of Defense now has what they call a skill bridge. You get the opportunity to go onto the skill bridge and look at companies that sponsor where you can actually get out up to 6 months early and be paid your active duty pay to learn a skill.
I think there's huge misconceptions about people in the military, that it's very strict and hardcore, and you watch Full Metal Jacket and you're like, oh, that's what the whole military is like. And a lot of people think that when they come out, they're gonna be that hard, rigid person or veteran, and that's not the case. A lot of them are very good at communicating. They're very good at PowerPoint, for example. If they learn their keyboard shortcuts, you can cut that part.
Yeah. I need to work on a shortcut.
But it is. It's not that different. Once you're out in the big military, doing your job is not that much different than the civilian world. And I think both sides need to figure that out. When people coming out realize that I'm just coming out and doing a different job for a different boss. And people on the outside need to realize that they're not going to come out as mindless drones who just follow orders. That's not what the military is about.